Welcome to Brightside Brews, where we serve up more than just coffee. We pour into your passion, your purpose, and your partnership. Whether you're building a business, growing in love, or chasing your dreams, we're here to fuel your journey with inspiration, real talk, and a little bit of caffeine. So grab your favorite cup, take a sip, and let's brew something amazing together. In 2020, JJ created this business plan. He didn't sleep for days. If you heard on the last episode, we talked about that briefly. Then COVID hit once we built a business plan. So we were kind of scrambling, like, okay, what do we do? Our idea was just to do pop-up. We were trying to figure out what to do. And so on Instagram, we saw one of our friends, Northern Vessel, start doing cold brew deliveries. So we were like, okay, we have to do this. We started selling tumblers to people.
We got shirts, we got tumblers, and we got cold brew bottles. But before that, it's important to mention our business plan was specifically directed towards retail points of sale. Since all I knew within the coffee world was retail coffee, cup-to-cup sales, by that point, I built the business plan based on that specifically. So the idea was to start with one point of sale and either finding a specific store that would have us or something like that.
That's true.
You remember
we went to
we went to one store. So
Yeah.
we're finding a way that we can sell in a part, just like Northern Vessel was doing. It was very inspired to see TJ doing that. And then he started doing cold brew. And we thought, why don't we do that? Because of a couple things. In markets, we did a couple markets where we were so busy that we had a long line. And some people didn't want to wait in line. So we thought, how do we make it really quick and fast for our clients to pick something that is ready to go and also boost sales up? So we did those glass cold brew bottles. That was fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We would wake up at the Crocodile in the weekends and prepare large batches of cold brew.
And people loved it. We had a couple of people subscribe to our cold brew delivery business.
At some point, we had 15 subscribers, cold brew.
Still remember our weekly subscribers to this day. Anthony, shout out to Anthony, Joe, who lived in Garden Oaks at the time, and Kimberly in Rice Village.
I remember my friends from it was either CrossFit that's so that and would come to all of our markets or most of our
So there would be people that they would bring their glass bottles and then they would come and refill their cold brew. Because remember, we had nitro on tap too.
Yes,
we started doing different things to try to bring people in. And something that we did focus on in the beginning is social media, like having a social media presence. So I would try to go and take videos and do fun things. We even started doing giveaways early. Like giveaway a cold brew bottle.
Because there wasn't a lot of fun and awesome content, at least in that specific here.
Yeah.
So we tried that and it worked. It worked really well. We started getting the word out there, but it wasn't generating a lot of money.
No.
The reason why it wasn't generating a lot of money was because there are some markets that we would sell $20 and some markets that we will sell, I think the most we sold was $1,200.
Yeah.
And that was the busiest market that we had, but repeated. So it wasn't a consistent, hey, $1,000 a market. That would have been a different story. But there were plenty of times where we paid $50, $60, $80 to be at a market and we just sold $20. And being out there
it was
in
a struggle. I mean,
heat of Houston.
It was
in the summer.
Yeah, in the summertime, we would sweat. And this was back when I was in school getting my MBA. I would sometimes take meetings. Meetings with a band.
Homework.
I don't know. I have no earthly idea how I did it. All I can say, it was just God that was helping me because
helping us.
Yeah, helping me manage school and
doing
work.
All those things when you're forced
full time and that. It was a whole bunch of responsibilities.
Not as hard. Like your work right now demands a lot more of your time.
Yeah.
Your work then, it was.
Yeah, it was pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like I was able to balance everything. Thank God, because it helped our business too.
Oh yeah.
hampers and stuff on our business because everyone in MBA school knew that we had that. So they would come and visit us in the markets and stuff.
Oh yeah, your classmates did.
They supported us a lot.
Because of that, what else happened? Your classmate, Jewel,
yeah, of course.
So then we connected, but let's not move too fast because you always pushed me in the right direction.
Oh yeah, there was a period in time where JJ went into like
that was at the beginning, of course.
Depression mode.
It was
oh no, it's not gonna work. Well, I was like, get it together, my guy. Like, we're gonna do this. But it was only like a 2-week lag when you were just like, oh no, it's not gonna work.
I know what to do. I didn't know how to navigate COVID. Nobody did. So it was like a collective, like there was that energy out in the air.
Mm-hmm. And that's when I signed us up.
Yes, then you signed us up for markets and stuff. And something else that you did is you kept telling me, hey, you can reach out to Northern Vessel. You can reach out to Night Owl because you did a lot of research into these companies, into their social media for inspiration because it's amazing. You told me, reach out to them. And I sent an email to Night Owl and Corbin replied very fast. So thank you, Corbin. We got in a call. It was a 1-hour call that had a huge impact in our business. Because he told me, okay, your markets are okay, but there's no money. If you really want your business to succeed, first thing, quit your full-time job right now. I remember feeling, as soon as he said that, I was very afraid. Like my stomach just sunk because the feeling of quitting your full-time job can be petrifying.
Because having a full-time job is just stability.
You know, and then your insurance, 401k, all that jazz, or just the stability of having that paycheck coming in every month. But he said, you're never going to grow until you quit.
Very true.
So you should just jump with both feet.
I mean, you can grow. There's just limitations. Like you have kind of a ceiling.
Yes, because that constrained us to go, or me to do events only in the weekend. Because I was working at the office until the very end, which was fun. We'll get there in a minute. But he told me, okay, you need to stop doing the markets, quit your full-time, and find a way to do weddings. Connect with the planners. Go to venues, open houses. Talk to the beautiful wedding venues and ask them if you can be part of their showcase, photo sessions.
And back then, like coffee bars at weddings wasn't really a thing. It was still trying to develop.
Like there were thing here. We're gonna do about 150 weddings these years. So yes, we did definitely. I mean, weddings is a big portion of our revenue, but back then it wasn't even popular. It wasn't even a thing. Even still to this day, there are plenty of grooms and brides that don't even know that these services exist.
Yeah, people still get surprised.
We didn't know that that was a thing. So then the bridal expo was.
Oh yeah, so then that's when we were like, okay, we got motivated by what Corbin said, and we decided to jump in 2021 into the bridal extravaganza.
No, it wasn't the extravaganza.
Bridal expo, yeah.
It was a bridal
expo. It was the bridal expo at...
Was it 2021 or 2019? No, it was 21 in 2019. Well,
it was 2021. At the George R. Brown Convention Center, and we didn't know, I mean, this was our very first showcase type of thing.
Of COVID, so you didn't know. I think they canceled the one in 2020, and we bought the one for 20. They canceled it. They moved it to 2021.
So it was really busy. We were just talking and didn't even know back then our prices were not the same as the city today.
We didn't even know what to start. Like I didn't know.
We didn't know what to do.
So
everyone that booked us at that time, they got really good and started pricing.
They got great deals. But we were able to get into the space.
I mean, that's how you start. You have to start somewhere.
Know your prices. There's so many resources today that can teach you or that you can navigate to find your right price. After that, we did a few calculations and we figured out the prices that work for our company. You have to be very specific, the prices that work for your company, because you're going to Every company is going to have different expenses.
Yeah, for sure. And then there was a transition for us too. As we were kind of going down the memory lane, I was thinking of the ghost kitchen. Remember that? We made the transition from a ghost kitchen, like storage, to a storage.
Yes.
And then just to storage unit, and then to our warehouse now.
Yeah. So all those are going to be your expenses. It depends if you have a warehouse from early on or not. So having
and baristas,
analyzing that, baristas are going to be somewhat of a variable cost, just as the cost of goods are. But your fixed costs like car payment or the rent or things that are coming every month, if you have those, then you have to analyze very carefully how you price yourself. We didn't do that. We learned as we rolled with the punches and came out victorious.
And I remember the very first wedding that we did, which through the expo, it really helped us because we did get a ton of leads. And then we ended up getting a couple of weddings from that too. And our very first wedding was in July of 2021, right?
Yep. I think that was
at Ashton Gardens, I think. Was it
no,
Ashton?
It was
Shirley Acres.
Shirley Acres.
Yes. It was at Shirley Acres.
So prepared.
We had it was both of us and our barista Miguel.
But I just got a memory picture of him at Bethel Church.
Yeah.
Bethel Church was the first church that approached us and said, "Can you be here every single Sunday?" That held us up for a little bit. Then we got.
And then purchased our bar.
They purchased the bar.
We've had a couple of churches do that, actually.
Yep.
Like we start their program and then they purchase it from us, like the bar, the equipment, and then they start doing it on their own.
They do it on their own.
Yeah.
It's interesting because right now, I mean, would that be some part of things that we want to do or not?
It's just part of our future consulting.
We didn't do it. We did it for free because we were there and they offered, "Hey, can we buy your bar? What do you think about this?" But also there was Sean is super knowledgeable. Sean of Bethel. Well, he is already super knowledgeable about
coffee.
Espresso.
They did have somebody there.
Yeah. So he knew what machines did he want to have. And now he has I don't know how they're staffing it, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah, but that was just one event that kind of helped prepare us for the future.
It was consistent.
Yeah.
It was a consistent form of revenue every week.
But at first, you were doing it like consistently.
I was there every Sunday for a while until we were able to find baristas.
That's when we were like trying to find baristas. And it was funny in the beginning, we were trying to recruit baristas. And because of JJ's experience with Toot Sweet, he did know a lot of people in the industry, but I think people were hesitant. I don't know, which is understandable. But now it's awesome because by the grace of God, we have people coming to us. We have Mariah, who's amazing, and she recruits all her friends from Houston.
And now we have 30 baristas that can pick up our shifts. And I mean, also we have 50 events a month. Wow. So that helps to gain credibility and consistency for folks to be able to work with us. And now we have a proper system. Before it was me scheduling people the night before.
Their text message.
Now we have go to the app, sign in, and pick up your shift. And also find the instructions of how to get there, where to park. Before it was me texting the video of where to get.
Oh, yeah.
The evolution of that. Or jumped too far.
I know. We're getting too excited.
So the evolution from that, I think 2021 was the end of markets. By summer, we were done with markets. It wasn't profitable consistently.
Yeah.
So we stopped that and started getting into the actual events industry.
It's 2022, but I don't remember.
I don't think
you didn't quit until 2023.
Yeah, but we didn't do any markets in 2020. So 2021 was the end of market. I think by the end of 2021, I think the fall, we would get requests for markets and more requests. And by then I was just thinking, man, it's so much work. It takes about 7 hours of work to do all the prep. Then the 5 hours of the market. And then you had hope to sell X amount of dollars. It wasn't worth it. Whereas if you build a system for markets where you're going to be there, spend one thing. If you're doing markets in the mobile coffee industry, You don't have a business. You have a job. Because you got to be there. Although if you're hiring people, you're not making that much money.
You hire good people that can sell, but they come with a price.
Exactly. Therefore, your profit margin gets cut. That was what Corbin was trying to tell me. He said he wouldn't do sales unless it was more than 3,000 people turn up, because he saw that he can capture anywhere from 5 to 10%. And that became a thing. We know now that if we're ever doing sales, we'll capture a 5 to 10% of the entire attendance if we're doing sales.
Yeah.
So that's not, I mean, it depends. It has a lot of variables.
Yeah. I think to be really successful at a market, you have to have a product that's kind of different. Like what people can expect that's different than what's normally out there. That's how you get people
and it's
like
colorful, Instagrammable.
Like, oh my gosh, I have to try it. It looks
And
really
there
good.
has to be hype built around it. And you also have to have the recognition to get there. And there's plenty of folks that are doing it.
It could make sense too for coffee shops as well. Because I know some of our friends, like they have their own shop and they do markets as well to gain recognition. But for us, it's like we didn't have a physical location. So it was more, oh, where can I find you?
Build more. We weren't able to build more. But as we grow our audience, it's not that folks that have a coffee are going to say, yes, we're going to hire your catering service. Maybe. Very, very unlikely. Whereas if we would have a coffee shop, people who see us in market could have gone, but there's a whole other reason why we don't have a coffee shop.
That's for another day.
Stay tuned to hear about why we don't have a coffee shop. Do you think we will ever have a flagship?
I think that's part of the plan. At some point, like we've talked before about having our own warehouse space, but then maybe having the front of the warehouse be our flagship where people can come and have our coffee. I do think that's kind of a goal.
How far is it?
I don't know. We have to map it out. It's hard for us to map out things right now just because we're so busy.
Yes.
So come up with.
But in business, there's always pivotal moments where you think that you have it figured out, or you think that it's going to work exactly as your plan is working. But you might end up in a whole different industry. That's what happened to us. We thought we were going to have points of sales. We didn't know we wanted to get in the events industry. We didn't know that we were going to be in corporate offices. I remember thinking, who's going to hire us to be in an office?
When you have coffee.
When you have that crappy coffee, of course, you can say it's an experience. You can say a lot of things to try to sell your services, but how do you get there? I didn't see the angle at the moment.
Yeah, there weren't too many resources available to guide us.
True.
Now there's a ton.
Now there's a bunch.
Now coffee bars are more known. Yeah. Trend.
Competition is super healthy for business because the more awareness it's out there that coffee catering is a thing, the more we grow.
Yeah. We all offer our own unique experiences. You just have to make sure you show that.
But if awareness grows, everybody grows.
Oh, yeah. In a place like Houston, there's so much opportunity and it can be shared.
Yeah, so there's different price points and different experience.
And that's why you started the group with like Houston Coffee.
Well, I know that we'll be able to satisfy all of our clients because some may not like our price point. Some clients may prefer something else, and that's okay. If we're able to find that for them, if somebody tells me, hey, your price point is a little too high, I want to be able to tell them, you know what, that's okay. I have a connection with some other folks. Let me see if anybody else can help you. There's always going to be folks starting in the industry, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We have our price points because that's our business structure. We need to meet our goals, and we have our prices. So that's.
And when we started, we weren't really sure how to price ourselves, but then over time, we realized, oh wait, we have one of the best machines. We use organic milk. We like all of that quality adds up. And then that's why we calculated we can price ourselves higher because of that.
I mean, factors in. Yeah. Of course, it factors in. The cost is always going to keep a factor. But I think it's very important to understand what are your goals
and what's your target market.
Yes.
And your target customer.
In order to price a service, you need to think, okay, how many events can you do? How many events do you want to do? And based on those factors, and of course your cost and your desired profit, because everybody has expenses. So if you have a business and you want to think how much if you have a business, you will definitely want to think, okay, how much do you want to pay yourself? How much do you want to get out of the business? How many events can you work and how many events do you want to work? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You plug in all those variables and kind of a range.
Yeah. And it really matters where you're located and what your market says you should price yourself at. Because Corbin in Dallas or Necco in New York, Corbin charges more than us because it's Dallas. And Necco charges a good amount because it's New York.
How different though? New York.
We're all around but it's not too much higher, but it's a little bit different.
I don't think it matters as much as
yes, to analyze growing.
True. But I don't think it's as important because you're going to have your product. I mean, whether it's going to sell or not, I guess we'll see. But so far, we're the highest priced coffee catering service.
That way, no.
No. And we're doing okay. We're doing more than okay.
Thank God.
Doing the math is the most important part. That you're going to test the willingness of pay of the client. Anyway, we went into a whole weird tangent. I thought we were going to do an entire episode on that. We could have done.
I know. Oh, about pricing?
Let's go back to event. Did we miss anything about
going into events? Industry? Yeah. I mean, I think something we did too was connect with the right people.
Yes.
One of the first markets that we did in 2021 was with Martha from Event.
It was a Galentine's.
It was a Galentine's market, but we were selling that day.
Right.
We were selling that day. It mattered because the setting was really nice. It was on a rooftop.
It was pretty, yeah, Meridian.
Yeah, Ella Meridian. And Martha was well known, so we were excited because Martha's also an influencer on her own personal page.
Influencer event, so it was a bunch of other influencers getting events in the exposure industry. We were selling, but we didn't sell as much as the next Galentine's that she did.
But I don't think that was our goal. Our goal really wasn't to sell. It was more like we get to,
let's see who we get to meet.
Yeah.
I think it was important to understand, okay, the next time that we do, I think we got to do it for free so we get more drinks out and more exposure. So that then we analyze, okay, how many events can we do for free? And which events should we do for free? There are open houses that we do, are certain donations that we do. There are certain exposure events that we do. Right now we're doing 12 a year?
So
there's a strategy behind it. So that was getting us prepared to understand how to use exposure in the best possible way. But yes, the connections, we connected with Martha. What other event did we do? The Chateau Creative.
I think it was another Galentine's at the Creative Chateau. That's when we met one of our bride, Sonia, and she actually became our friend, Sonia and her husband, Justin.
Amazing. Them.
So you never know where you meet people. And now we hang out with them from time to time. So hopefully we can have them on a podcast too.
That's going to be awesome. Experience. But I love where it gets you from. I love the wedding industry.
People's love story.
That just makes me so happy. And he's working when he's with you.
I know. So we considered those coffee dates.
Yes.
Because we would just be part of people's love story. And then,
but it's been really cool. I think we should pick a couple weddings a year where we just
that'd be fun.
And just
and sometimes we do them. Like I go to take content, but then we let our baristas do it. But maybe we can choose a couple and do some ourselves, just because I think it means a lot to us since coffee was such a big part of our love story.
Yes,
and that's why we enjoy it when other people.
But we get to do that. I mean,
And we always go up to the bride and groom and ask them if they want coffee, and then try to get a picture with them, and then we see how excited they are. So
I feel blessed awesome right now. I'm so grateful and so blessed that we get to be part of people's celebrations, whatever it may be, a graduation, a baby shower, or a wedding.
All of those stones.
It's very cool. It just fills my heart with coffee.
Coffee love. Another thing that I think we did, I mean, we're talking about weddings a lot because that's how we started in the events industry. But we kind of made a shift at some point into a corporate world.
I don't think we made a shift. I think
not a shift, but we did that.
I didn't want to add too much of that too early on because I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
But it just happened. We started
getting gigs. Quit. In 2023, JJ.
By the time I quit, I already had a bunch of events booked. So I would just sometimes take time off. Sometimes I would be working while I would organize everything prior to it, install everything at like 5 a.m, getting calls by 7. I would be in other rooms getting calls in the event.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. And then what was Stacy? No, you were a manager at that time. I don't even know like how this guy did it because you were a manager at that time.
I worked crazy hours. I worked until midnight every day. So that's just what you do. And that's the life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, if you think you're going for freedom, like...
Well, it's not freedom, financial freedom or some different kind of freedom. If you're launching your own business, thinking that you're going to work less, you're up for a nice trade.
I feel like it's more... Like, we're still trying to figure out how to balance our time. Sometimes I'm like, are you coming for dinner? Like, do I wait for you? And then JJ's like, I can't, I'm doing this and that and that. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's a great problem to have, isn't it? What a blessing to worry about. Hey, I have so much work.
I know. It is a blessing.
And that's going to be figuring that out. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Well, this was fun.
This was great.
In the next episode, I don't know what we're talking about. We're going to plan it out.
I know exactly what we're going to talk about. For the next episode, I have a special guest. And he plays a key role in our growth. We are so fortunate and so blessed that we get to chat with him.
A leader in our industry.
Oh, definitely a pioneer.
Yeah.
So excited to have that conversation. It's going to be really fun.
Thank you for listening to us.
Yes. And as always,
bring the love.
We'll bring the coffee.
We're kind of all over the place today.
Yeah.